Good morning, autoimmune warriors. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the inspiring people who have been able to become pretty much fully symptom-free of MS and how you can achieve that too. At the end of the video, I'll give you 3 tips that you can start implementing today so you can get started on your healing journey. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So my name is Melissa and I was diagnosed with MS in 2019, January. It's now 2024 and I take 0 medications, I never have. And I've been 100% symptom-free for 2 years. And before that, my symptoms would kind of come and go. And it was just a process of really paying attention and learning from my body what the triggers were and really creating like a customized protocol for my health. So my partner, Hisu, is a holistic doctor and chiropractor, and he's been a huge, tremendous help in my healing journey. He uses muscle testing, which is a way of tapping into your body's subconscious intelligence, and it basically can tell you what the root causes are of your illness and what you need to change, what you need to do to heal. So that's what he's done for me, and clearly it's working. So yes, no matter where you are with your MS journey or your autoimmune journey, whether you're mobile or you're not mobile, you can heal and you can get to the root causes of your illness, and you can start changing your lifestyle and you can heal. I mean, you can get to a point where you're symptom-free or your symptoms are nothing like they are now. Let's look at just a few of the people who have done this. There are many, and many of them have not written books or anything like that. So the first big inspiration I want to talk about is Dr. Sarai Stancic. She was an MD. She was doing her residency at a hospital, I believe in the emergency room when she was diagnosed. And she was actually diagnosed there while she was working because she was working really long hours, which is very stressful. And her book is called What's Missing from Medicine. There's a lot to these individual healing journeys, but we'll just kind of brush on it. She used lifestyle medicine. She follows a fully plant-based diet. She recommends exercising, doing at least 2 strength workouts a week, and at least 150 minutes of aerobic exercise. This book, When the Music Stopped, is by Bob Cafaro. So he's a very accomplished musician, and he was diagnosed with MS, and it was completely debilitating, and so was Sarai's case. And they were both able to go from a place where they were either bedridden or couldn't walk properly to being symptom-free. This one, Get Over Yourself by Kenneth Cielo. His page is called The Healthy Plumber on Instagram and YouTube. He really got to the root cause of his MS. For one thing, he was exposed to lead in the workplace. But on top of that, he addressed diet as well and all sorts of other things. He also went fully plant-based, and it really helped him. There's also Matt Embry. He has a very popular page on Instagram as well and Facebook. He's the founder of the Best Bet diet, a diet that seems to give people the best odds of beating multiple sclerosis. And that diet is not a fully plant-based diet. It does eliminate processed foods. He also works out a ton, and people who do his protocol seem to do very well also. Nicole Appelian. She was diagnosed with MS, and she actually got to the point where she couldn't walk. She healed naturally. She's extremely knowledgeable about plants and their healing benefits. She also takes great supplements like mushroom tinctures and vitamin D, which seems to really play a role in the onset of MS if you have low levels of vitamin D, so that's something that I take as well. So using her knowledge of plants and their health benefits, she actually survived 57 days in the wilderness on the show called Alone. There's another book that I have, I don't know where it is, but it's called Healing Multiple Sclerosis by Anne Baroche. She sadly passed away, but not before she beat MS. Her case of MS was also debilitating before she got on her healing journey, and then she completely figured it out. That was actually the first book I read when I was diagnosed, and it was like so inspiring, and I highly recommend it. The circumstances of her death were a little bit suspicious, so I don't really want to talk about it, but it was not MS that killed her. Most people have heard about the Walls protocol, so that's Terry Walls. She healed herself naturally using diet, exercise, and other factors as well. George Jelinek, I believe that's how you pronounce it. He's the one who wrote the book Overcoming MS, and his story is that his mother had MS and she passed away sadly, and then he was diagnosed with it later, and he started doing tons of research. And actually he followed a mostly plant-based diet, but he did include fish. He also ate a low saturated fat diet, which Dr. Swink first discovered was helpful with MS. It would be a little bit too much to get into all of the nitty-gritty and the details of what these people did to find the root causes of their illness and address them. That's why they wrote books. But some of the commonalities in their approaches is kind of addressing their whole lifestyle. So when you embark on a journey like this, you have to be willing to change everything, because that might be what it takes. For starters, diet is huge. You're gonna have to give up some of those comfort foods and snacks, but it's fine, because when you actually start eating healthy, you start to crave the taste of healthy foods. You no longer are really attached to because sugar and salt are addictions. So when you give up those things and you start eating healthy, if you go and have a slice of cake again, it'll kind of gross you out because it's like too sweet, because now you appreciate the sweetness of like fruit. And you also start wanting exercising if you don't exercise now. If you do exercise, you might want to exercise a little more. I know for some people that might sound really difficult depending on what kind of state you're in, but Dr. Sarai Stancic, when she first started out her exercise routine, she could not get herself onto the exercise bike. Her husband actually had to lift her up and put her on it so that she can try to bike. You have to start where you are. The other big thing to address is your emotional state and your stress. Are you somebody who gets stressed out? Do you kind of dwell on things? If so, you probably want to start either a meditation practice or going for walks where you can just be in nature in silence, listen to calming music and things like that, because stress is actually my biggest trigger. I don't stress out a lot, but if I am dealing with large amounts of stress, like in the workplace or whatever, that is a huge trigger for me. And also, there are supplements that can really help with MS. For example, lion's mane mushroom, which has shown potential to revitalize damaged nerves, which is very important with MS. And of course, vitamin D, that one's a really big one with MS. I have this book, Multiple Sclerosis, and lots of vitamin D. The Coimbra protocol is a protocol of taking really high doses of vitamin D to treat MS, and that's a tricky one. You don't want to do that without a doctor's supervision. For me, like I said, my partner uses muscle testing, and he's incredible at it. And he was able to muscle test how much vitamin D I needed to take, so he's able to dose supplements this way. And so when I was first diagnosed with MS, I had to take a lot. I was very deficient. But as time went on, he would muscle test that I needed less and less. So now I only take a few drops a day. There are other tremendous supplements that I can mention, but I'll probably save that for another video. So now 3 tips that you can start implementing today to get started on your healing journey. Number 1, get yourself a little journal that you can use as your healing journal. Basically, my tip today is that you write down today's date and what your symptoms are, what they currently look like, what is your MS right now. And then write down what you think your biggest triggers are. So that way you can start keeping track of it. So when you start seeing changes, you'll be able to connect the dots. Number 2, do you eat dairy? I dare you to cut it out of your diet for 30 days and just see how it affects you. Number 3, meditate. Stress is a killer. If you can find some peaceful time just by yourself, whether you're doing a guided meditation on YouTube or you're just going for a walk in nature, try to find your inner zen and just relax, especially if you have a stressful job or you have things going on in your life. Those can really be triggers for MS flare-ups. So my whole point in making this video is that it is entirely possible to get to a place where you're completely symptom-free of MS. If 90% of people will progressively get worse and 10% won't, ask yourself why you can't be in that 10%. You don't have to throw in the towel before even trying. So once again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel because I plan to be making lots more.